Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Terrestrial Material, where we talk about the material us terrestrials are interested in. This is episode 15. We're calling this the Ufology Treadmill because, boy, oh boy, it has felt like we've been on a treadmill lately. I know it's getting to the end of the year, but I just want to be able to get as much content out of this for everybody, and we all want to see some more stuff come out and have some interesting things to talk about. Now, I know it's Sunday, and typically this show is on Saturdays at 7. However, our co-host, STEVEFRENCH, he's been having a little bit of health stuff, and I want to be able to get over to him here. I don't want to make him wait a whole lot. Is there anything, French, that you want to feel like you want to mention, you feel comfortable talking about with what's been going on with you lately?
Yeah. Hello. How's everybody doing? Just recently I've been having to take medication, and recently I've had to stop taking that medication. So it's kind of like taking a toll on my body, kind of like make everything kind of twist upside down and really messes with you. So Saturday was a rough one for me. And unfortunately, I can't like choose to do something like that during the week, because with work and everything. So the weekend's like my best bet to like go through it, deal with it, and then, get back on track for the week. So,
Yeah, and it's not mental medication, like it's physical, correct?
yeah, it's an immunosuppressant that I had
Yeah.
to take. So,
Yeah. I don't want anybody to think, you know what I'm saying.
no,
You know what I'm saying.
It's nothing mental. I'm not a wackadoo or anything.
No, he's definitely. We
Not
are
yet.
wackadoos.
I was like,
we
not
are.
yet, actually.
Yeah, we definitely are wackadoos. I got my, you know how much a wackadoo I am. I got the Bigfoot hat on. I don't even believe in Bigfoot, but I got the hat. You know what I mean? But you got to get a Bigfoot hat, when you see it, if you like it. So yeah, it's dude, I like doing the show with you, man. I feel like I say this every show. This is really a joint effort. Even though you guys might not see that behind the scenes, but like your things you said on last week for the Peru episode were huge. They were great insights, like the Ronin mask and how you mentioned about the organs and everything like that, saving that. Dude, these are cool points that I missed and I haven't seen really many other people talk about. So you're definitely a value to the show. And if we got to push it a day or so because you have a health thing, hey, we can. We have the luxury to be able to do so, and we definitely will. But right here at the start of the show, I do want to tease a little something. We are in communications with a very, very cool guest. Guys, very cool guest. It's kind of hard to stress how cool it is. It's somebody who I've listened to for a very, very long time in ufology. I'm sure everyone who's in this knows who the person is. I'm hoping everything goes through. What we're dealing with right now is scheduling. So as soon as we can get a date and a time nailed down, we're all in for a very, very big treat when we can get that guest around. So I don't want to say who it is because I really am not 100% of the time. And, things happen, French, right? People get busy.
Yeah.
It's the holidays coming up.
Yeah, especially with the holidays coming up.
Yeah, 100%. Which is why I wanted this person as soon as we could because of the holidays, but I don't know. To be fair with you, I'm just gonna be happy to have the person on at all. So it's gonna be really, really cool.
Right.
And it gives me some time, I guess, to flesh out the questions, and because I don't know how many opportunities you get like this to talk to people like this. So you really want to make them count. You know what I mean? Now French is obviously on the show tonight. He isn't 100% in health. So if we do end up keeping the show a little bit tighter today or tonight, that's kind of what we're doing. Usually we go about 90 minutes, but we're going to end up doing a little bit more killer than filler so that we can make sure that we have some great content for you guys tonight, things that we want to talk about, but we don't want to, keep him all night. He needs some rest. He's doing us a favor being here. So let's get right into it. The first thing I really wanted to touch on, which is I think peak news that's going on in ufology right now, is Elizondo's book has leaked, and believe it or not, it is the audio book has leaked. I'm assuming that it's going to end up being paperback, what have you. But what we have right now is a view of the audio book, and what I want to do real quick is pull up the website that we've seen this on, because this is pretty interesting stuff. Do you hear anything about this, French, at all?
I just seen like something on Twitter, but that was pretty much it.
Okay.
And then I think like the next day, you matched it. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. So here it is.
This will be fun.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting a deal, no doubt about that. Booktopia. This is in Australia's local bookstore. Let me move this a little bit on my screen so I can read this a little better. Yeah.
Booktopia.
Hey, hopefully they're making a little bit of cash out there. I mean, what is the Australian form of money? I don't know what it is. What do they? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Queensland, right?
Yeah, I don't know what their money's called though.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, we're stupid sometimes, huh?
Yeah. Let me get a 5 note.
let me get a 5, mate. Now, so the book is obviously called Disclosure, which, coming from Lou, is probably one of the most arrogant things you could probably do. Quite bold. And yeah, it says it right there. Author, Lou Elizondo. It says, sorry for the book you were looking for is not available right now. We did a search, blah, 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 blah. So the book has been pulled. It's not here. However, and I didn't notice this off the first time I looked at this page, or not looked at the page, but when I first seen the news about this, because this was a screen grab that I'd seen. So I clicked on it, and then it actually brought us to the site. I believe we got to give credit to Manny, Area 503. I think he's the first person that I seen post this. Somebody else could have, but Manny's like really on top of this stuff, so I'm gonna give him the credit. But it says the description of the book is the Roswell crash site, the Phoenix Lights, Area 51, sightings, conspiracies, glimpses of the unexplained, decades of questions unanswered. And I'm guessing they still will be unanswered after the end of this book. But forget what you think about what you know about unidentified flying objects. On June 25th, 2021, the Pentagon released a historic report confirming 144 incidents of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, with no easy explanation. The U.S. Navy and Air Force have confirmed ongoing sightings of bizarre objects moving at blinding speeds, often around nuclear and defense sites. Barack Obama has publicly acknowledged the concern. I always kind of wonder why he throws Barack Obama in there. I mean, it's not that like Barack's not important, but you know what I'm saying. What do you think about him throwing Barack in there, Frank?
To me, like, you never really heard about like Obama and like UFO and stuff like that. Like, he wasn't really like a part of it,
Yeah, I mean,
did he fund any research for anything? Did he do anything like that?
No idea, man. I don't think so. I know he did come out and say that he made a mention that there was some unidentified stuff that we hadn't heard about, but I mean, there's been a lot of presidents that have. Maybe he's just trying to be more recent, which I guess is along the lines of Lou. I mean, he said he wanted to destroy ufology as the current we know it. So,
Right.
I guess it makes sense that he doesn't take a long or a further back president at that point. But Lou Elizondo spent an accomplished military career hunting drug traffickers and terrorists before being posted as director of U.S. government is highly sensitive Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program (ATIP) in 2008 in that capacity. Elizondo led an international effort to study UFOs around the world, buddy. James Bond. James
Yeah.
Bond fire. And I just realized you can't see this. So let me share my
Oh,
source
I
with
thought
French.
I didn't know
I'm
you
I'm
wanted
I'm
to
I'm
be
sharing a source, dude. My bad. I realize you can see. I sometimes I forget, because when we go on Alien Addict, it's like they run off StreamYard, so everybody's seeing everything on the screen, and I gotta share it to you. Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, you
I
did a
tried to.
phenomenal job narrating, so
Oh, hey man, we're trying, buddy. We're trying. We got a little caffeine. We'll see how well we do. And I see David Rock in the chat. He says, "I love when you go live and talk. It's relaxing." Hey man, we're trying, brother. It's cool, man. I used to fall asleep to a lot of different streams and podcasts. I mean, I still do. So if you're doing that to me, wow, I guess things have come full circle. Now, the Advanced Threat Identification Program (ATIP), it's saying he was the director of it. I mean, look, I still don't agree with that. I think that Stephen Greenstreet did a really good job at breaking that out. I think ATIP was simply just a nickname for OSAP, and Lou himself has said that he didn't have anything to do with OSAP. So he's contradicted himself a few times. I find it interesting that he goes back to ATIP after that. French, what do you think about that? Any thoughts?
I mean, is this like a refresher of like his last book or what? Is that like what this is all going to end up being?
Well, no, this is the first one. This is the book everyone's been waiting to kind of see at this point. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I mean, this has been rumored. I guess really what it is, if we want to be honest, it's been rumored for a while. This is just the confirmation that the
why
book
was I
was
thinking he
coming.
already had a different book out?
Everybody's got a book, man. That's probably why. No, but he hasn't had another book. He's just done, obviously tons and tons of podcasts and media. But it says, shocked by what they found, Elizondo told his commanding officers, the world needs the full truth. I mean, I agree with him on that. When Elizondo's superiors refused, he resigned his post in order to go public. Since then, he's led the global disclosure effort. He's led it? I don't know if he's led it. Who's writing this, French, huh? He writing this?
He might be.
Yeah, he could be. He could be. Yeah, he resigned his post. I mean, in my opinion, he was kind of fooled into resigning his post. I think Mellon and the boys over at TTSA and Jim Semivan, I think they sat around and said, "Hey, there's a boatload of money over here for you, brother."
Right. Come on
That
over.
yeah, right. That pension that's that you're sitting around here waiting for your last couple of years on. Trust me, that ain't nothing to what we got going on over here. And I kind of don't really blame him too much for that. When you look at the lineup that was there, it did like Skunk Works, Steve Justice, Mellon, Semivan, Tom DeLong. It did look like put off. There was potential. I mean, I definitely thought there was potential back in the day when they first brought that out. I didn't know it
Well,
all
yeah, like you
back then.
said, given based on the names that were affiliated with it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something that, could snow on a bunch of people.
Well, for sure. I mean, there's definitely big names there at the time. Which I mean, my opinion on those names have changed. Obviously, when new information comes around, I'm always down to change my mind. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I agree. And then it says down here, I guess these are some more bullet points. Are we alone? Which is interesting because I thought Elizondo said that disclosure already happened. That he thought. So I guess why are we answering a question that he's already answered, right?
Well, yeah, he's gonna let the whole world know that whether
Yeah.
we're alone or not, with this book.
Oh yeah. Well, he's gonna tell us everything that he couldn't before, right?
Right.
Because it was all classified before, but it's not classified anymore, right? Sure. You got it.
It's just interesting because I mean, how's this gonna roll out? How's this gonna go for him, especially after like the Who Is Lou documentary from Manny, and then everything else kind of like branched off from that. And so like he hasn't really had the most reputable background within like the last year.
Yeah, 2 years. I mean, he's ran into nothing but trouble. I mean, all the stuff
And
with. Go ahead. Yeah.
well, sorry, and I was gonna
No,
say,
no,
and to
cut
like
me off. Go
still
ahead.
like to still like send this out and everything, like, hey, here's my book, I am gonna do it. Like, he's got to know like what people like most people think of him by now.
Yeah.
So you're either arrogant or you're very 100% certain that you can fool people and you don't care what other opinions are or even like facts that have been held against you, and you're just like, fuck it, make money.
Make money,
He's gonna
money,
get his
money.
pension after all.
Yeah. Oh,
The
well, I
book.
mean, yeah. I mean, that's what we're kind of gonna definitely get into a little bit more as we go on about this. I mean, it's a big part of it, without a doubt. I mean, yeah, you bring up a good point. I mean, he still has like a lot of people that follow him. And I guess maybe we should preface everything right now. Look, I don't hate Lou Elizondo. I don't. Dude,
No, you just don't trust
dude,
him.
yeah, I don't trust him. I'd throw a couple steaks on the grill with him and have a beer and laugh about ufology. 100%. I don't see him as like, physically harming people, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna bash him
No.
like that. I mean, I don't agree with him on a lot of things, and I don't trust him. However, but no, I mean, I don't wish any bad on anybody, even if I don't agree with them. But he goes, our government's in possession of wreckage. What do we know about the science and tech of UAP? Have UAP compromised? I can read tonight. Our nuclear weapons caches. This just, I've had so much caffeine. I'm probably talking about 5,000 miles a minute too. What's inside a UAP? What is inside a UAP, French?
Humans.
Humans. Whoa. Dude, okay. Some terrestrial material in there, huh? Okay, hey, could be humans from the
Humans are
future.
crash test dummies. One of the two.
Well, the crash test dummies, that was Roswell. Okay, that was Roswell. Let's
Yeah.
let's get it straight here. That's definitely what happened. Where do UAP go between sightings? I think the ocean. That's probably a good little place, or back through their little wormhole wherever they're from. Do they have a base, or do they live among us? Robert Bigelow lives among us, or says they live among us. So there you go. And the biggest questions of all: who are they? Who are they? But that's that song that Rich plays all the time, the crop circle song. What are they? Hello, Bernie Merrill. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. So yeah, this book, man. Yeah, it's been rumored for a long time. I'm not surprised that this leaked now. It seems like the way things are going this year. I mean, obviously everything's about to slow down, French. It's the holidays. There's not going to be a whole lot coming. But then when you start off next year, if we don't start to get a lot from these skiffs or these congressional hearings, this could be a way for him to kind of go ahead and cash in before this thing kind of goes south. So it makes sense. I have a little prediction, a little hot take. I think that we're going to definitely hear Lou come on the scene first quarter of next year, right on News Nation. I think he's going to wait for News Nation to come out. Now, whether or not he promotes his book right away, that's still up for debate for me. But he's going to start making his way back onto the scene at the beginning of the year. What do you think about that?
I could see that. I agree. I mean, what better way to do so also than, to release your book that you've been promoting and talking about for however the last couple of years, even longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I also wonder, because there's these line items aren't in the book, man. I wonder, is he going to address some of the beef in this book? Do you think he'll address Manny at all? The Manny obviously made Who's Lou, plug to Manny, Area 503.
I don't know if you would want to do that in your book, but
Why
I get,
not?
well, maybe you would, right? You would rather leave it in your book and not address it in any other way, shape, or form, so people don't hear about it, so they don't have that, whatever opinion about you, whether it's skewed or, you know, a bad opinion, because that's pretty much like what it basically was for him. It was bad publicity.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. I see. When Manny was here, I mentioned I didn't think it was a hit piece. I thought he asked a lot of really important questions, and I think it would be good for Lou to address some of those questions in the book. I mean, that's what I want to see. I mean, we know as you look at the top of this thing, right? You know, you got Roswell crash site, Phoenix Lights. I mean,
Yeah, I
so what are
keep
we going to get
rereading
out of
it.
this? I mean, we're going to get Lou explaining his opinion on these events, right? What he thinks happened at Roswell, what he thinks the Phoenix Lights were, which is cool. I mean, all his interviews, French. I don't know how many you've seen back last year, and because I know you were kind of coming back and getting caught up on a lot of this stuff again. But I don't remember him really addressing too much of this stuff. Like people would ask him, and then he would divert, or he would go on to some giant filibuster that never really got us anywhere. He is the king of that. He's the king of the filibuster, no doubt about it. He could have a podcast 6 hours long, 7 days a week. No one could beat him.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Was like, what more could he possibly have to say in a book that hasn't already been said, in previous interviews or any other publicity that he's gotten?
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder how much it's going to be too. I mean, audiobooks are usually really expensive.
Because even if it's not like his own words for whatever that could potentially be in this book and like his thoughts on Roswell and stuff like that, there's still other people that still make posts and social acknowledgments like, hey, this is what Lou thinks. So
Yeah.
even if they aren't his own words, there's still a bunch of other stuff out there that's formed around his thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, and I guess when we kind of look back at where it said that where was that at on here? It said he kind of led the charge essentially. I mean, he's definitely had his hands on a lot of the stuff in the current movement for sure, but I still don't know if I would say he really led the charge. He's him and Grush. Grush is I feel like Grush has been almost just as impactful in a lot of ways. I mean, maybe we just haven't seen Grush enough yet to really feel that. And we just had Lou longer. But Grush has made, I think, a bigger splash on mainstream media and just overall news maybe than Elizondo ever did. That's my opinion. That's my take on it. And then I guess the last part here, I'll highlight this because I don't know how well they can see this, man, because it's like hard even for me to see. As a civilian with high-level national security clearance, Elizondo is widely viewed as the world's most credible authority on UAP and UFOs. And I do not agree there. This memoir reveals groundbreaking, even shocking details of what ATIP learned and the profound implications, not just for humanity, but everything we think we know about our lonely place in the universe. So that's interesting. Lonely place. Why would you describe that lonely if you're telling us,
that we're not alone?
That we're not alone.
That's very interesting. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
Little conflict of interest there, huh?
I feel like if this was like an English paper or something and you submitted it, your teacher would be like, what's going on here? Why is this here? Makes no sense.
Right. Yeah, without a doubt. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Do you think it's gonna sell? Do you think they're gonna make a bunch of money?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Yeah, probably. Just because it's something new. It's something that is still linked with, ufology and everything, and people that do want to look for answers, and people who do still follow Lou religiously and everything. Yeah, it'll sell. I think so.
Oh, they do follow him big time.
Are you gonna buy it and listen to it?
Oh, of course. I hate to say it.
There you go. You already answered your own question. It's gonna sell, baby, like hotcakes.
Look, I mean,
there's no reason it wouldn't, though, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I would be a liar if I said I wouldn't buy it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like these I hate to make a gaming reference here, but it kind of makes sense. It's like a lot of these YouTubers that, crap on Call of Duty every year where it comes out and they say, "Don't buy it, don't buy this game, it's terrible," but they buy it, Yeah. No, I want to be as transparent as I can. No, I would buy it. I would definitely get the audio. I'm not gonna sit down and read it, but I'd listen to it throughout the day without a doubt. Why not? Now, if he's really smart with this, he'll try to release it in a downtime of ufology, and maybe that's why it'll be maybe like late summer next year. I'm thinking. around this time next year. And that's why I think so much that he's probably going to go on somewhere like News Nation and kick off this book tour, or, getting himself back out there again, putting the narrative that he wants out, because that seems like a great time when there's nothing in the topic, when we're dead looking for content. It's a breath of fresh air to get something like this. And I think it would sell even more,
Yeah, agreed.
I think everybody would really get in there and buy it at that point. Yeah. So there's the leak. There's the the hot take on old Lou, on old Louis, man. I don't know. What about the Corbell? Now in my notes I put Cornell, so if that makes any sense, where was my head there? The Corbell RAF UAP photo release. Did you get this chance to see this photo that came out on Weaponized?
I looked for it before we went live here. I think I seen it, but I just didn't click on it.
Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I want to jump over to one other thing. Lou, we're not done with you yet. Hang in there with us, Lou. Not done yet. I thought this was actually pretty interesting too. So Stephen Greenstreet posted this, and let's see if I can get this zoomed in here. Yeah. Okay. So this is Lou Elizondo. Oh wait, can you see it again?
No, not yet.
Oh God, I gotta give it to you. And hold on, ladies and gentlemen. It always knocks it off if I move it. Well, I shouldn't move it then.
There we go.
You got it now.
What's that picture?
This is a great picture. But see, how can you not look at that picture and say you wouldn't have a steak with the guy? He looks fun. I'd have a Cuban cigar, right?
Oh man,
give me a break. Who wouldn't? I'd have a big laugh with him. But Stephen Greenstreet posts this, and this is the Lou Elizondo on UFO disclosure timeline. I guess this is quotes that he's put out here. And it says December 2017, we may not be alone. August 2018, I think disclosure's already occurred. Wow, he's really moving fast here. December 2018, disclosure already occurred. So he doesn't think it. Now he knows it.
He knows it.
But in the book in 2024, are we alone? So that makes sense. April 2019, a lot of people ask me, so do you think disclosure has occurred? And I think it has occurred. December 2021 is shaping up to be a banner year. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I think this is the reason why Greenstreet brought this up as well, is because this is just the common theme that always runs every year. And he's showing this time progression of since 2017 to 2023, the last 6 years. It's always wait till next year, guys. It's already here. Keep your head going. This one, and look right here, May 2021. Pay attention for the next 30 days. I think this convention is about to get real interesting. This conversation, real interesting. Yeah, sure.
After that, I like that.
Yeah, I think 2022 is going to be even better year. We've got so many things planned. It's have things changed over these couple of times? Have we had things come up? I mean, we've had Grush. We've had things like that. We've had congressional hearings. But how much of you, French, thinks that that's just kind of little luck? That some of this is going through, that we're getting anything at all?
I don't even say it's luck. I think it's just purposely pushed. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I think Grush so far has been the biggest pebble in the pond. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Definitely lately. No doubt about that. January 2022, the best is yet to come. We may be reaching a critical mass. Critical mass. That was a good perk to pick in Diablo 3. If you ever played that game back then as a wizard. But that was in January of last year. And then December 2022, if you think these are exciting times, just wait for 2023. You ain't seen nothing yet. That picture, I can see that song in the background playing when you walk up to through the backyard and meet him back there. He's got, you ain't seen nothing. Yeah, he's got the cigars lit up.
Such a good picture.
Bro, it's very funny. It's very, very funny for sure. October 2023, keep the faith. Much, much more is coming. It's coming and soon. I'm gonna come. Donald Trump.
I'm coming. I'm gonna come.
Lou's coming, everybody. Oh Lord, geez, this got really nasty here real quick. And then I don't know. He added this one at the end, which I think he's saying Carl Nell at the Soul Foundation is saying disclosure is coming in 2030. I don't know. 2030. Whoa, I'm just reading that right now. So I gotta wait another 10 years? Or no, excuse me, I can't do math. 7 years?
10 years. What happened to the next year is gonna be even better? Why the jump?
Well, Lou's holding on. He stopped talking, because he's got the book, right? So he's gonna go silent, I think, for a minute. Go quiet, jump on News Nation, put the book out there, which I've always said. I think that book has been like his retirement plan ever since the TTSA thing fell through when he got booted out. When Justice left and Mellon left and he left, he was kind of, I mentioned this before, but he was kind of the guy that was left without a job, at the time. Like I said, I don't mean that like he's a bum, but like he was the one that was left without a position. So he jumps on the YouTube tour, builds a grassroots following, stirs up a lot of noise, which the noise is still going on. If you watch UFO Twitter nowadays, you have the sanity too, which I do. I got to take a look at what's been going on lately. But yeah. And then he puts the book out, makes a bunch of money. Because, I mean, look, it doesn't stop at this audio book. Like we mentioned before, paperback, scripts, movies. He's the new James Bond. What do you think? UFO James Bond.
James Bond is quite the stretch. All I can say is I hope, like, at the end of the book, if there is like a paperback copy of it, I hope that picture's on there, and I hope like it has him thanking everybody for their support, following, and patronism.
Yeah, I wonder if he comes out and admits some things that we've all been thinking. What if the book came out right before we get off the book topic here, because we got other things to talk about. What if he came out and said, "Hey, look, this is what really has went on"?
Nah, because that'll kill it for him in the future.
I mean, maybe, yeah, but maybe we get like little hints.
If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? It's clearly still not broken. He's coming out with his book.
You're right, man. You got me. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm throwing a little something else in there for fun.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if it was me, like, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, I mean, him personally, everything's still going the way he wants it to. So, run it.
This little clip I thought was interesting too.
Yeah, I like this clip.
I'm gonna play this for you guys really fast. Let me start this over here. This is a clip of Tom DeLonge. Now, I've heard this story before, but I had never actually heard, number one, where it came from. I didn't know. And I definitely have never heard this clip before from Tom DeLonge. So this is a clip of Tom DeLonge talking about Elizondo getting saved by General Mattis in a fight here. So I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but here it is. Here's Tom DeLonge, our buddy Angels and Airwaves. Hit it, Tom.
General Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis. Yeah. Mattis saved his life. Lou got pinned down in a huge machine gun fight, and he called for air support, and they said there's nothing in the area. And he said, I looked at my friend, and I said, we are going to die. We're dead. There's like 100 of them shooting, and they're pinned behind a rock. Then he heard something on the radio, and Mattis comes flying in on like one of those Bradley vehicles, saying, and big door flies down. He's like, get in, boys. He's in the t-shirt. He's on busy. I'll get to you in a second. He's on the automatic grenade launcher, just wiping people out.
He's on the automatic grenade launcher, just wiping people out, dude.
The guy, he goes, Jesus.
How about this story, man? Holy,
and Lou said he's on the ground just looking up at this guy in the sunset kind of thing. Like, who the fuck is this guy? And he saved his life, So Lou came from like really being in war to moving up to a place where he had a lot of responsibility with a lot of very sensitive things.
Yeah. So there you have it. I had never heard that before. So interestingly enough, there's a lot of people that think that Lou's never been in combat. I don't know if there are records of it. I'm not going to make a call on that, dude, because I don't know. And I think that's pretty rough if he was in combat to even make a mention that that's maybe possible. So
I just like the way that DeLonge describes it. And like, I just picture in my head, like something from a Halo game. Like, I don't know.
Master Chief?
Yeah.
General Master Mattis Chief?
Just all I think about, like the way Tom DeLonge like tells the story.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Tom eats it up, dude. I mean, it's definitely a big reason I think of why he got picked. He was easy to, yeah, man, he was really easy to convince. I think Tom is a big believer, and I mean, believe if you want, whatever you want to believe. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely was open to be kind of a conduit for them and definitely to get a lot of the information out there to not only people our age and above, but the younger kids that are coming up.
Generations, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Blink-182 is still obviously giant. They got a new album they just put out. So yeah, I wonder what's really going on there with that. I did want to show. So this is kind of moving on here. We brought up a second ago the Corbell release. This is the Royal Air Force photo of a UAP that was shot at that Corbell and George Knapp released on Weaponized this week. When you look at that thing, what do you think?
Not this week.
What do you mean?
Know.
Oh no, they released the photo this week. That's not that this happened this week.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say what. It does look like a frog. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like what is underneath of it?
Well, they're pointing at this, and honestly, this was
the smokestack picture, the other one, the comparison.
Yeah. Dude, this looks like that.
That's a good point. Yeah,
100%. When I seen this, and I'll try to zoom in like a little bit so we can kind of maybe get the angle that I think this thing deserves. Can I zoom in? It's not going to zoom the way I want, boys.
It's really breakdancing though.
Yeah. But yeah, when you look at that compared to that, maybe we can just make it bigger if we click. Yeah, this Lou reviews is could it be this? Knowing Corbell, probably. Yeah, I put best damn explanation I've seen so far. So yeah, I think so, dude. When you look at that tower, it's even striped, right? Like you see the stripes.
Yeah, you can definitely see the stripes in it.
And then the other thing that I think is important with this photo is this can obviously be the smoke, but this right here, the dark area up here, that even looks like the giant part of the cloud that starts to form. Like if you were to zoom in and see this area, that's this area, the big part of the cloud. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right in here. I'm just gonna flip back and forth a couple of times here, but that's the top of the cloud. That's what makes sense to me. Now I know that,
but it's like kind of weird looking though, because like if it almost looks like it is a zoomed in picture. But looking at the stack for that one right there, like it doesn't look like it's zoomed in that much, but like the clouds above it do.
It's interesting.
Like what you were saying, like if you were to zoom in on like that specific spot of the cloud and like the rest of the surrounding area, is it around it? But the framing wouldn't match the way the stack is right there.
True. But see, here's the way I look at it though too, is that the image is grainy. It's bad. Right? It's degraded, super bad. And we know that when you have a lot of fakes that are out there, I'm not saying this is a fake. I'm just simply saying this is what I think that this is. I don't know what this thing is, dude. Okay. It could be Kermit the Frog in black and white for all I know. But it is very common to degrade imagery when you make these kind of fakes and stuff like that. We know that. So it could be that they zoomed it down, the smokestack, zoomed up the smoke, and then degraded it across the board so you couldn't kind of tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this could be superimposed. Like this could have been cut off and put back on after they zoomed in on the photo. Definitely possible. You could do that in Photoshop.
Like I'll be honest, after I seen the smokestack picture now, like the actual colorized one, that's all I see.
That's all I say. Me too.
And I'm not even talking about it as like a UFO, honestly.
Yeah, that's all I could see, man. I seen this tower and I seen that. I said, here's the Kermit the Frog face, and then here's where it starts to get bigger. Yeah, I agree, man. Big time.
And that's not even that big of a cloud coming out of that one right there. The one on the right.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever drove past any of them and like see them like on a highway or something. Those clouds get like way bigger, like way bigger, especially when it's cold outside and everything.
That's a good point too. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, we have tons of those in Michigan, dude.
All over the place, yeah.
All over the place, yeah. And so, who knows? That's my best guess. Green Street posted a picture of these where you have that. I don't know if you can see that. If you want me to zoom in on it, I can try.
I see these? See it pretty good, yeah.
These drones. Yeah, these are these drones. It's not bad. Not a bad guess. This is where it looks most similar though, the dome here, or the shape here. But on these, I don't see like the propellers. Now there's degradation, of course, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing two of these, not just one. When I look at these photos,
Yeah.
these little dome tops. And then this to me looks like it's missing information in the photo on the one that they released on the image. And I just don't see the same. It's like very uniform missing on both sides, where this feels like it's like the dark area is pushed in. It like makes this Z kind of formation, where these are obviously pulled together. I don't know. It just doesn't look that way to me. It's close.
Yeah, it's definitely close, but the smokestack is like, that's like 100% for me what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what would even be able to, I mean, obviously, like you said, the degradation of it, but I mean, looking at these little drones and everything, they still don't have that much of the same shape.
I agree. Yeah. But it's hard to tell. But
It
I thought
almost
it was
looks
a
like
good
the
catch.
two on the top for like the black and white one, like those two little tiny dome pieces. It's almost like they were like copied and flipped, and then
Okay. I
'cause they
like
look
that.
almost the same, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Very
Pretty much like
similar.
the same shape,
Very
same like
similar.
shading underneath too.
True. True. And you know what else I don't notice? I don't notice this dot or like these front end. Now it could be just turned a different direction, but this has a protuberance. My elbow now has a protuberance on the right side here. And then maybe that looks like it's more inside, but
Yeah,
I don't see any kind of protuberance in this area. I'm just gonna use that word because I like that word right
I know
now.
it's funny.
I don't know. Whatever you guys think in the chat, I don't know. Post what you guys think. Is it a smokestack? Is it a drone? I don't know. I still think I'm gonna go with smokestack.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Make sure that still wasn't running. Now we have we have Greenwald here. I did want to get his take, show his take on this because I agree with Greenwald on this. John Greenwald says this was teased and newly released UAP image as published by Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp early this morning. Ufology seems to be digressing and doing so with less and less pixels with each high midnight release. I agree with John, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with John on so many things. Sometimes I feel like he's in my head because because I don't hear a lot of people talk about a lot of this stuff, but I feel like I'm one of the few that keeps harping on the fact that I keep feeling like we're running out of stuff to talk about with ufology. And when this happens, this is what's going to happen. Everyone's going to keep going back to Roswell. We're going to go back through all these cases, Travis Walton, Pascagoula, you name it, the whole cadre. And he kind of is hinting at that right here too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. He does a very good job of just kind of like cutting right to the point. Like he doesn't surround what he says with bullshit, but also in a way to where you're like, oh yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense. Like he doesn't have to explain everything, just one little part, and that makes you think about like everything else and go, oh well, it's kind of right, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, he's
less and less pixels with high midnight releases.
Yeah, he's referring to like Weaponized always gets released at like midnight. They do that late night release, which is always kind of funny. But I guess that's a unique thing that they do. Yeah, I like Greenwald Jr. a lot, dude. He's right in the middle ground. I feel like I relate to him just a lot. I don't want to be on either ends of the spectrum because just can't really get the truth that I want when I'm around those areas all the time. But yeah, I think we'll see more and more of this as time goes on, and I think he made another good point up here with these photos right here from the blackvault.com. He goes, look like these are yet again making their rounds on various social media channels. As a reminder, here's a ton of research done on the Trepang photos a few years back. Now this, I'm going to click this and I think it'll take us where we go without any BS. I don't know, Frenchie, have you ever seen these photos? This is along the theme of we're kind of going back a little bit.
Just the one that was hanging out of Elizondo's mouth. I mean,
the cigar. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when these photos came out.
I only seen like a couple of them. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, this was a famous one right here.
That's the one that I've seen.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. John posted these photos here, and these are high res, man. These are some of the highest res that you can see. I mean, for any fake or not. I mean, I don't think that they're real personally, but
No, every time I see this photo,
yeah,
I picture like somebody with the camera. It looks like you're just like on a wet like concrete or gravel like surface. Like that's the ground underneath of it, and they're doing some like weird like close up or something of like some other random object to make it look like it's like hovering over like some distance or clouds or something. When it's just the way I picture it and think of it.
yeah.
It just looks like somebody has set their camera down, parallel with the ground, and then they did whatever those other little magic tricks are with their phones and stuff.
Yeah, this one too. That one definitely looks pasted on. The resolution difference is kind of jarring to me. Yeah. I mean, they're cool photos. I mean, no doubt about it. Yeah, there's tons
Well,
of
that's
them.
all the rest of them. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them, dude. There's a lot. That one's super obviously fake. That looks like the most CGI'd like thumbnail photo you've ever seen in your life.
It's on the cover of Destiny too.
Yeah. Falling from the tower there. This one too.
See, now, is this supposed to be like the ocean?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. The other ones don't really look like it as much as this one does, but it looks, the texture and everything's the same.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of these. And obviously there's different versions like that. I mean, look at the periscope, it looks obviously so fake. I mean, yeah, look, it's just coming out of the ground.
That just looks like a piece of rock.
The turd,
Dum
dude.
dum, give me gum gum.
This is supposed to be, I guess they shot it, blew it up or something. I don't know. They're cool photos, man. They're definitely they got a piece of ufology history. Everybody kind of looks at these. This was a super famous one of them. This was probably, I think actually this was the first one that I ever seen. This is what was hanging out of Lou's mouth, the cigar here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Oh, and that's the other part of this is that originally the photos, I believe, were out of these books, and they were folded up, and so they ended up getting the non-folded ones. I think John got sent the unfolded photos, I believe. I didn't go through this whole article. There's a lot there to it. He kind of goes over. I'll put the link. I guess I'll just put the link in the description if you guys want to go over these Trepang photos again. If you don't know these or anything, but they're a good example of that. This is the kind of stuff, guys, that we're gonna start seeing again. If we don't get anywhere with Grush, if we don't get anywhere with skiffs, this is kind of where we're gonna go. And then obviously you have Corbell talking about how they're gonna end weaponized soon. What do you think about that, dude? When you hear him say that, why do you think that they're talking about ending the show soon?
The only thing I can think of is almost like, what we've talked about. Like if stuff starts just kind of plateauing and there's nothing really much more going on. I mean, you can only talk about the same thing for so long. Now, obviously, comparing weaponized to like something like our podcast is a little bit different, but I mean, still the format's the same. Like you do your research, you talk about these things, you have stuff that's coming out, recent news and everything. I think weaponized would have a lot more longevity to it. So maybe they're just planning on doing something different in the future.
Yeah,
maybe they're changing their format.
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about changing their formats, bro. It's really difficult when they don't have new evidence. And then when you look at these pictures that are blurry, and like we mentioned before, like we're kind of going back in time. It's just like they have to create content on that show. Yeah. And, Grush and these guys, it hasn't worked out for them.
Well, and it gets hard to do too, especially when like every kind of like news or evidence that's presented is like a blurry photo. I mean, you can only like sit and talk about that and then create content on your own for so long before it starts, taking its toll on you.
Yeah, and I think you want more mainstream media coverage. I mean, you want more people to talk about this topic. And I think that's kind of a lot of what John Greenwald Jr. is feeling too, which is like if you wanted to get more exposure to this, we can't go back in time. Like there's a lot of evidence, like compelling stories. I mean, the Lonnie Zamora case, there's compelling cases, but the reality of it is, and we'll talk little bit about this more when we go over the latest Jesse Michaels video that he just released today. But we have to bring new things. It's not like the whole world, now the whole world may not be into UFOs, guys. It's not like the whole world hasn't heard a lot of this stuff too. There are people that have heard about Bob Lazar. Like there are people, this stuff's been going on. It's, it's not completely oblivious amongst people. People know what Area 51 is. We can't keep telling Area 51 stories, because if telling Area 51 stories was going to get us anywhere, it would have already have done that
a long time ago too.
Correct. And I had to pull this up for Jeremy because this was very funny. Well, 2023 disclosure never happened, but the grift goes on. He's got dude, man. And you got, like, if you guys haven't checked out a lot of Jeremy Rise's stuff, definitely do, man. He's going over a lot of the, like, advanced propulsion. They're really doing good scientific work and trying to figure out what's going on with anti-gravitics. Very cool stuff. So, we're gonna laugh with his tweet and laugh along with him. We'll give him a little plug too when we have. This was something else I thought was interesting. We're kind of just going through some bookmarks, guys, that I had on Twitter that I thought was interesting. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it, I know Green Sheet was putting a calendar of Senator Gillibrand's official congressional activities, shows she had a phone call with UFO whistleblower David Grush on October 25th. So this might be the notorious phone call that he said that he didn't have any money for the flight in the hotel. So, yeah, because that was about that time, right? I think that's about that time that stuff was kind of popping off when they were trying to put together a GoFundMe to get Grush out to DC, and God. Yeah, man. So there it is. He's really on the case, Green Street, ain't he? We tried to, and I guess I'll put this out there, guys. We tried to get Green Street on tonight. That was the show we wanted, for sure, was to try to have Stephen Greenstreet on tonight. Because, I mean, there's so many questions that I have for him, just about his progression through, being almost a full believer into where he's at now and how that process went. So if you see a lot of Greenstreet tweets and stuff on this channel, man, I mean, the guy's been doing really great work, so I can't ignore it. And there's definitely a lot of things. And same thing with this Aska poll guy. This is Matt Laszlo, I believe. I don't know if this guy's controversial. I haven't seen anything with him. However, he says confirmed House David Grush skiff briefing scheduled for tomorrow was canceled. This was Thursday. This got canceled. The reason why I bring this up is obviously the news is it got canceled. Why it got canceled, I don't think anybody knows. Maybe other than Congress is losing a little bit of hope, maybe reassessing some things. But I get a lot of really good tips from this guy, Askapol. Like, he's got I don't know what you call it. It's like a website where he posts his news. It's not Twitter. And he's really up to date on, like, a lot of the new stuff that comes out of Congress, like Burchett quotes and Gillibrand quotes. And so shout out to him. He's definitely got some cool stuff going on there. Anything else I really wanted to touch on here before we move on? And if I'm speeding through some of this, guys, I'm trying to. I know we're getting close to an hour, and I mentioned we were gonna kind of keep it a little bit tighter.
Video right there, I watched that one, but dude, it's so annoying to, like, focus on what's going on because the guy's, like, speaking Spanish or whatever, and then I'm trying to, like, read it, and, like, I want to hear the audio of, like, actually the interview that's going on with Grush, but then you got the subtitles going on over it. I'm like, dude, my mind is like, I was like, I can't even listen to this right now. Like, what is going on?
I know. I think that there's a video of it that this bookmark here of it definitely has the guy speaking Spanish over top of the subtitles. I agree. I think it's Spanish. It's massively annoying, dude.
Like, just play the clip from the audio, like the audio from the clip. I don't get it. And this isn't the first time I've seen this clip too. And, like, I'm like, oh, well, I would really like to listen to this and actually read it if it wasn't, like, just drowned out by Spanish. Right. And every time I come across this clip, I can't listen to it the way I want to.
Well, like it's hard to read the subtitles too because the subtitles are kind of crap. And then also, I just keep looking at his beard and how I think that he looks like he's wearing a bathrobe to me, bro. It looks like he literally just got out of the shitter, excuse my language, and sat down, you know, off of a morning crap, and maybe he's got like a coffee sitting there, and he's like, yeah, you know, I gotta go do this conference and talk about the stuff I've already said a million times. He does not look enthused at all to me.
No, I was gonna say you can just looking at like the way he looks. That's a good point you brought up. Nobody that looks like that is ready to go on a skiff and you know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, he definitely doesn't look like he's really.
Any other time he's clean shaved, right? He's like, screw it. Ain't
Well, he
nothing
shaved
going
his
on.
head too, if I remember right. In the hearing, he has shaved head.
I think he was bald too. Yeah, he had his head shaved.
Yeah, he was putting the tryhards on. I guess not for these guys though.
No, not at all. He's vacationing somewhere.
I just thought this was like so funny to see him. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the most put together guy, but he's pretty disheveled.
No, by no means, right?
Yeah, by no means. I mean,
when you have the kind of publicity that he has and what he's supposedly supposed to do, especially for ufology and everything, like you don't picture him ever looking like that as like that presentable.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go in front of a conference, dude, at least you're gonna trim the beard a little bit, you know? Trim the beard up a little
That's how
bit.
you know he knows he's not going to anytime soon. You know,
Yeah.
he's not prepared for it.
That's a good point, man. Yeah. Or maybe he's just saving it.
He could be.
Maybe he's got a crush on one of those congressmen or congresswomen. He's saving the looks, you know? I don't know, man. I think he's married, right? So maybe not. We don't want to get him in any trouble. Who knows? We don't know a lot about David Grush. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't kind of take my eyes off of that. And then I get, you know, Manny comes in here. Of the 11 scientists investigating the Nazca mummies and claiming authenticity, only one has any peer-reviewed papers written, and those are still pending. What a point. I had to throw this in here kind of at the end of these tweets because, boy, right? Everyone's asking what's going on with these mummies. This is definitely topical. They're wondering, you know, are people taking it serious? Are they going to move the bodies? Are they going to have, you know, anyone in the U.S. look at it? Or everyone that is coming out of there? Or is there all the doctors that are around Jaime Maussan right now, are they legitimate? This is interesting.
I don't think people are really taking it that serious.
You don't think so?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like in mainstream media or anything like that. But I mean, I still hear people discuss it on other shows. I know.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's been kind of put like on the back burner.
Yeah.
By like almost everyone.
Yeah, and I think and this is probably a reason why it'll probably stay there. You know, when it gets fully sat down, it'll probably be. Yeah, I think that's it for the tweets here, because this is what Mick West talking about something with Grush. I don't know. I've had enough of the Grush rush. What do you think, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody's still putting forth their email, so.
Oh my God, I know. I that's what I can't wait for, man. I can't wait to hear John Greenwald drop those FOIAs and then say, hey, you know, somebody's lying. Gonna figure it out.
Yeah, we'll find out who.
We need it. I can tell you one thing we don't need is I read this. They're talking about how Colt Hart. Did you see where he was talking about the people who are holding the secrets should be taken behind a Hummer and stoned?
I mean, how primal for one, right? Like, what a way to describe it. I don't know why you would describe it that way.
I mean, I just
kind of off the wall.
Yeah, it's more than off the wall, but it's like, hey, like we don't need to militarize people because we're just not getting the exact answer that we want. You know, my God, guys. I mean, this is not that serious. I mean, I want disclosure like anybody else, but I mean, I'm not trying to hurt people or something about it. Listen, if
actually stoning them, like
I know.
What country do you live in and what era? Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I always look at it like this, dude. You know, I don't want to get in a lot of like Twitter wars and stuff like that. I'll make comments on stuff on Twitter if I think it's funny to make a comment on, or I'll say something like, hey, it's my opinion, what have you. But if you ever catch yourself like in the middle of a tweet, this is like public service announcement where you're writing, like yelling at people, cussing at them, calling everyone crazy or psychopaths or everything, and you're like legitimately upset. please take a break from ufology for like a week, man. Take some time off. It is not that serious. And to get to the truth, we're not going to need that anyway. We need a whistleblower to come out. If you're telling them, hey, we're going to go start hunting for people here to take them down, that's not going to make anybody want to come out. So, yeah, Cole Hart, calm down, brother. Calm down. We don't need anybody any harm done over it.
He thought Grush's beard was scruffy. Imagine what his looks like right now.
Well, he's panicking, right? Like when you look at Cole Hart, this is my thing. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's trying
absolutely.
to make, yeah, brother. He's trying to make some money on this thing. He's riding this story out, but he's like anybody else that I think has an open mind when they're looking at this topic. Is it's not going where they want. I mean, like we mentioned before, the skiff with Grush just got canceled this week. Everyone's going home for the holidays. Things are that's a good sign to me that this is not being taken super seriously through Congress. I mean, obviously Burchett's taking it serious. But maybe not everybody else. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the whole like skiff being canceled thing is, I think that was the other wall that we were gonna hit, given the whole like West thing and Grush thing. However that outcome is, like we were discussing last week, like that's, you know, your one wall and your line in the sand, and then this is like the other wall, the skiff being canceled. And yeah, obviously, a lot of people are upset about it, but I mean, what can you do? There's nothing.
Well,
like,
nothing.
Just take a break, and when something happens and comes up, you'll know about it. Obviously, if you're that invested in it, like.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the same time though, even if we get Grush in a skiff right now, if we don't have people that have clearances to go over what he wants to talk about, like he mentioned. In the hearings themselves, in that congressional hearing, yeah, I can tell you behind closed doors if you have the clearances. So we get people in there, we spend another $20,000 or $30,000. I'm okay with doing that if we have people who have a clearance that he can talk to. That's my guess. My guess is they might have shut this skiff down for Thursday because they said, dude, we just went in one with these people. We couldn't tell them anything, and we don't want to spend money and do this again.
Yeah, again, like we talked about last week, like it'd be nice to have, you know, other people in there with them. And who knows, maybe that is what they're doing. They're like, nah, it just doesn't make sense to have the same people in there. Let's get some other people in there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some people that can talk to him. I mean, I wonder if Matt Gaetz can. I mean, I don't know if he's got the clearances. I mean, he definitely had a little bit more pull because when they were down there, he was the one that said he's seen the picture and seen the radar data. I think they were in Florida when everyone went down to the base that was down there. It's slipping my mind right now. It's hard to remember absolutely everything, but with this topic because there is a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, maybe him, Armed Service Committee guy. Maybe we get him in there at that point. But I kind of think, dude, that Congress is losing hope. I do. I think that they're maybe going to reassess their approach over the holidays, and because I don't think we're going to get that next congressional hearing this year, right?
Probably not, because I mean, look at the time frame from like the last one and then the one before that. Like they're pretty big gaps.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I know there's
it's
downtime
November right now, so.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Oh, that's just what I was gonna say. It's if the time frame is like a couple months, 2 or 3 months, then yeah, it'll be next year. And would they want to do it right at the beginning of the new year?
That's a good point too. I don't know. Maybe they would want to wait until maybe early second quarter, kind of around the time that they did the last one. Shoot, they might wait till next summer. Who knows? But I don't know if Lou comes out and starts stirring up some noise, and maybe some of these people want to listen to him for whatever reason. Maybe they encourage them to kind of get things going. Excuse me, but I don't know. That's probably not going to happen though. Just I guess throw some speculation out there. Look, I want to give out some ideas, we gotta give you guys a little bit of something to chew on. You're still gonna be hungry, but you're gonna chew on it. Before the show, guys, Frenchie told a funny Dave Chappelle story, and yeah, we'll just say it at that. When I look at kind of what we have left, I mean, obviously the drama, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but like everyone knows, the drama is kicking up in the community hardcore again. On UFO Twitter, everyone's kind of fighting amongst themselves. And every time we start to not get a whole lot of new information, that's usually when that kicks in, which I understand. People want content. They got to talk about something. It's frustrating though. You know, I still wish we could all kind of come together more and just share ideas without trying to cut each other's heads off proverbially.
Or being stoned.
Yeah, or being stoned behind a Hummer, which I feel like sometimes, you know, these guys, they get into it. Maybe they would really want to do that. Maybe. I'm kidding. They're probably great. But yeah, I always encourage everybody, make up their own mind. There's going to be a lot of downtime. Don't let your mind wander too much. You can always it's always good to take breaks, you know, with any kind of hobby or anything that you're into. If you feel yourself getting to that point, definitely do so, because we're seeing things like this MH370 conspiracy plane come up again. I mean, that's a good example of how you know that ufology is getting slow, man. I mean, we're talking whole other conspiracies are popping up over the top of the thing. So
right, and that one's been a big one. That one's been blowing up social media all over the place for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna like get too much into it because when I originally looked at the videos, no, you're good, yeah. When I originally looked at those videos, I thought they were crap, man. Like, it's just, the effect work didn't look impressive, and the little explosion or the little wormhole at the end looked. I think Joe Rogan said it best. If that was an action movie, I'd want my money back. And I agree with him. I still think everyone underrates what CGI artists are able to do. Even in 2014, I mean, it's just like, just because you don't work at these movie studios doesn't mean you can't make great stuff. And there's a lot of great guys out there. I know that Julian Dory, I think it's Julian Dory. He just had that Ashton Forbes guy on his show, and they did a 6 hour. It's actually broke up into 2 parts where they break down this whole conspiracy and they go over it. But the whole point of bringing that up is that Julian Dory has a team that's making the videos right now. So they're going to take 2014 technology at that time, video editing software, everything, and they're going to make it inside that 2 months. So going to be interesting to see what they come up with. I'm not going to be surprised if it looks very, very close.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, it's not that impressive. Because Ashton keeps like, and I don't want to go too down a rabbit hole with this, but he keeps making points about this video where he's like, you'd have to make the cloud, you'd have to make all these things. I'm like, dude, I believe it's probably satellite footage, and it's probably even satellite footage of a plane. But all that you're really adding is a couple of orbs that have no definition at all, circling around a blurry orbs on a blurry plane into a terrible wormhole effect. Bro, you could do that in 3 months if you know what you're doing with it. So I don't know. For me,
the way I think about it is like the graphics engine. I mean, Unreal Engine 5 like already has, I mean, it's had its own like test grounds out for how long. And there's just random people that just mess around with it all the time, and they come out with crazy stuff. And there's actually like live, you know, background pictures and everything, and then they superimpose whatever, you know, into the picture and stuff. But there's not like geniuses doing this anymore. They're just average Joes that have the tools that are free to their access. And obviously YouTube is the other big one to learn whatever you want in the world.
Dude, and they were doing YouTube tutorials on video stuff. My brother, in 2013, 2014, you're talking about the heyday of video game montaging and the effect work that people were doing. Like, dude, I can't remember the guy's name, but I used to follow this this YouTuber who he'd take Cinema 4D and he would make Gears of War 3 montages. Incredible stuff. The bullet casings flying out of the gun that weren't in the game, that look like they're in the game, like everything the guy did. And this guy didn't work for any studio. He didn't even have a job in the field, man. I mean, these are just people who were watching YouTube videos. We had access to software like Maya. And this is the thing with Ashton that I think he doesn't know. I guess here's my hot take for him. I don't think he knows a whole lot about the background of video. You know, I went to school for video, man. I've seen a lot of people and met people and seen their work in college that we'd be like, dude, this guy's making this stuff. He's been in school for 2 years, and it's incredible stuff. So I don't know if he has a background or he's been around the film world at all to really understand how possible it is to create things and what people were really doing back then with programs like Cinema 4D, Maya, After Effects. These guys are wizards, dude, wizards, and a couple blurry orbs that are tracked on the video and put on there. If it's real, it's real. Strike me down, okay? I'll reverse my opinion. If you bring me new evidence, I have no problem changing my opinion. But until then, it's a blurry video, bro. I think somebody could have made it, and yeah, I don't know. Last thing I want to touch on, unless you wanted to say anything kind of closing.
No,
on
I
yourself,
agree.
brother.
That's why I said what I said is like, I think somebody made it, and you don't know who, because there's people all over the place doing stuff like that now.
Yeah, and love to Ashton, man. I'm not like trying to start a beef or something. Like I hope the best for him, bro. I hope the best for him. In all endeavors. The last thing I did want to touch on, which is very, very recent, which I always like to bring really recent stuff to these episodes. And that's a big important part of the show for us guys. We want to bring new stuff. Every once in a while, we might, bring up an old case or something like that, or some old footage or what have you. But when we envisioned the channel, we wanted to be as topical as we possibly could, which is a tall task because sometimes we get these dry spots. But we try to bring, really great guests. That's hugely important. But then also, as current as we can get. So about 4 hours ago, Jesse Michaels, I think it's American Alchemy. Isn't that his channel, French?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he puts out a new video entitled How I Know David Grush Isn't Lying. And the video is about 14 minutes long, which I think is probably one of the shortest videos that he's done.
I think it is, honestly.
Yeah. On Grush.
Content that it has in it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's kind of complaining. And he's saying, the mainstream media response to our Grush videos that we did, our interviews, they're saying, he said the response is pathetic. That was his words. Now, if I recall correctly, when he was on Project Unity, when he was talking to Jay, he was saying that he really started to get into ufology in 2017 when like the New York Times articles kind of came out, and he's been around. So what? He's got 6 years.
Yeah.
If I'm correct. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and kill me over it, figuratively, not literally. But I remember him saying about that time, and I kind of wish if I could talk to him in person, I would just kind of say, "Well, duh, man, there's no evidence, bro." And everything that you've went in these videos, and if we remember to kind of touch back on that David Grush interview, he did this where this whole setup, I was always confused. Was it a documentary? Was it a YouTube video, French? I mean, what'd you land on that? Would you think it was a video or a documentary?
I landed on a documentary, but the way the format was, it was kind of spread all over the place. Yeah. And more so it was how he touched on his friendship with Grush and everything.
Yeah. But a lot of the video, a lot of the other parts of the video though were very bringing up all the old news, talking about all the old cases that were out there. And I'm not going to name every old case because we'd be here all day, but it was a giant list of just ufology history. Bob Lazar was in there, everything. And what I feel like he doesn't really understand is that the media is known about a lot of this stuff. Just because you put it on your YouTube channel doesn't mean that they're going to go, oh my God, Jesse Michaels said this now we got to pay attention. And he's got a lot of reach, obviously 170, 180K subs on his channel. That's good, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? So I'm not downing him on that and calling him a nobody. It's not about him being a nobody. It's about your presentation, the evidence that you're bringing to the table. If it was going to move the needle, it would. And it hasn't moved the needle because stories and conjecture is not what's going to move the needle for ufology right now. And this is the reason why I bring up this video, French and everybody, because I think everyone really, I want to drive this home. Maybe I've been driving it home the last 3 or 4 months ad nauseum. If I have, I'm sorry. But this is a really, really big point that I want to make an impression for, in my opinion, that we have to get some actual evidence at some point. And I just kind of feel like he's new to the topic, Jesse is. He's very green. And he doesn't really understand any of that yet. His video is him kind of crying out.
That's what
to
I
the
was
media.
Say. Yeah.
And he's
kind of like a whine, upset video.
Right. And I know he pulls up the quote and he says that they called him and Yes Theory
frat boys.
intellectual frat guys. Well, listen, Jesse, when you hook your boat up to David Grush, okay, and you get to go to the hearing, and you're right there, and you're on the cutting edge, and you're getting the views, and you're getting all of that big upswing, there's a cost. It's a gamble because it could keep going up for you, but David Grush could also bail out, kind of like he has, and it's a swing right back down. So if you get behind him and push him this way, which is fine, do whatever you want to do, that's cool. Just don't be surprised when nothing happens, everyone turns away. Don't be surprised, man. We've heard all of these stories before. Townsend Brown, we've heard this stuff. Lockheed Skunkworks, we've heard it. Make the videos if you want. That doesn't bother me either. But just understand, that this is, we got to get some substance here. And I think he's a smart guy, French, right? I mean, everything from his videos. I'm not saying he's stupid.
No, you can tell just from the way he does present, his content and everything like that, and the way he talks. He's no dummy by any means. Definitely smarter than me, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's almost like you said, hitching your boat. You put all your eggs in this one basket and you didn't get the outcome that you wanted. I mean, you just kind of have to move on at that point.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Bob Lazar story came out in the late 80s.
Right. I mean, he talked about it recently and it was wow.
Yeah.
Especially given with Grush and everything, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was really that relevant as to what was actually going on with Grush and why he felt he needed to make that documentary or video in the first place. So it just seemed kind of off to me.
Yeah, the 15 minutes you're saying, the recent one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I just thought it was I don't know. I don't know how old he is, but it just seemed like he just didn't get what he wanted, And he was kind of kicking and screaming, they didn't really get what he wanted. I mean, you had the Greer Disclosure Project in the 90s. I mean, you had mock congressional hearings. He's telling us things that aren't new, but he's surprised that it's not getting traction. It's and what I thought was interesting too is Valet made the best point, Jacques Valet did in that video, which was that the clearances to get access to all of this stuff it's nuclear implications. It's DOE. How does Jesse think that he's going to make a video talking about old investigations? And Congress and the media are just going to go, oh, yeah, he brought it up. Let's go ahead and open the doors to the DOE.
Right. In what world do you think that makes sense?
Correct.
I mean, you have to have a little bit of sanity, right? You would think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I only bring it up because the guy's got a lot of reach, and No,
it was an interesting video when you sent it to me today. And it was as I was sitting there listening to it and everything, and he went over the points and stuff, it just, to me, it just kind of fell to the wayside. I was like I get why you put the video out and everything, because you didn't get the outcome, and you are friends with Grush because he made that very clear in the first video that he did. So I get it, you're sticking up for your boy, that's fine.
True.
But I mean, sometimes you just kind of have to cut your losses. So, and I'm pretty sure he'll end up making another video here pretty soon. And it'll probably still be on the same topic, except it'll be whatever other articles that kind of lashed at him and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does in the future, man. Definitely would see what a lot of people are doing over the holidays, because it's slowed down. I can't lie. The last couple of weeks, for me with the entire topic, I go back and forth, because when I put these shows together throughout the week, I'm bookmarking like crazy, anything that I can see, all the videos that I can watch, anything that I can to put together. And sometimes I get frustrated too, man. And I think, God, what are we doing?
Well, it's almost like when you asked me a couple weeks ago, do you watch the stuff during the week and everything? I'm like, no, I Friday after work or Saturday, I wake up in the morning, make my breakfast, and I go through all my channels and stuff, and I feel like you can do that now as opposed to like, a year ago when there would just be so much stuff to have to go through and sift through. Like it's all at this point pretty much regurgitated, and there's only so many things that are worth bookmarking that you can catch up on. Everything else is through the week is just, it's kind of irrelevant almost at this point. Like Twitter's still like the best one for me. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the last 6
the
months, and you say in
easiest.
the last year, 6 months, there's been so much that's went on this year, tons of stuff. Now granted, are we still standing in the same position with proof that we were 4 years, 10 years, 15 years ago? Kinda, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely more eyes on it, and Congress is taking a look at it. But you know, we've seen a lot of this stuff before with Arrow. Arrow's very comparable to Blue Book. It's the same kind of scenario. The only thing with Arrow that's different with Blue Book is that Arrow is just going to be a constant entity now that the Pentagon, the government can use to just constantly look back at. Where Blue Book shut down, and after Blue Book shut down, the government kind of didn't talk about anything anymore, didn't mention it. So ufology was kind of running wild and doing whatever it wanted to do. But now now they can like kind of zap it whenever they want to, knock stuff out of the air whenever they want to, rather than allowing a lot of things to grow and theories. I mean, whether they're true or not, they really have their hand on the narrative now. They really, really do. Which sucks. In a lot of
I was gonna
ways.
say it's not necessarily a good thing.
No, I'm still holding out hope for a whistleblower at this point. Maybe somebody from the DOE. I don't know if it's possible, bro. I don't know. Maybe they can kick something out of there. My only advice is to have some fun with it when you can, and when things get a little crazy, maybe look around what else is going on. Yeah, so that's about what I got for today, brother. Other than, I'll say it once again, like, share, subscribe the channel. Just for anybody that's just got here a little bit later and maybe missed the beginning of the show, just want to make a little teaser again. We have a very, very, very cool guest that we're in the talks of on time right now to have on the show, and it's going to be a real treat. Everybody's heard of this person. Trust me, everybody's heard of this person. And I was blown away that when I got the email back that said, send me some times. So we're really excited for that.
I was kind of shocked too when he texted me that.
Right?
Because it wasn't like much long after when you're like, I'm just gonna send him an email. I was like, all right. And then he texted me like the next day. You're like, oh, we got him. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Dude, when it was the following morning. It was Saturday morning. So I guess I'll tell you, Saturday to me was wild, right? Because I get up in the morning Saturday. I'm excited. I laid in bed probably at like 9:30, and I'm just like going through my phone, dude, just notes for the show, like points I want to get to. I do a lot of that stuff in bed, like in the middle of the night sometimes, but then in the mornings I'll go through and just kind of like lay out the show. And so I get that done. I walk over to the computer. I start making the thumbnail. I walk on my Mac. I start making the thumbnail. And then you call me, obviously, let me know what's going on there. And then like all this momentum that I had Saturday morning hits an absolute wall. And I'm like, okay, we're going to push the show. I'm like, fuck, man. I was ready to go. I was amped up. I was like getting everything going. And so I go from happy to down. And then I go over to my computer because I'm going to post the show for tomorrow. I open up my email, and right there on the top of the email is this person. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding. I put my head in my hands. I'm like, so awesome, dude. No way. And so then I'm just throwing back in the other direction of like being really happy and excited again. And so we go to breakfast, and I'm sitting down, and I'm telling Stephanie, like, I have had just a roller coaster of an hour and a half here of just every emotion possible, throwing me all over the place. And yeah, man, if it goes through, if everything goes together on it, you guys are really in for a treat, man. I can't stress that enough. No doubt about it. Any final thoughts, Frenchie, before we pull off and we close episode 15?
No, not really. I mean, I'm glad I was enough up to par come and do this today. Like I said, even Saturday, because like I said, I hadn't gone to bed yet, and this was already at like 11 in the afternoon, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, dude, this isn't good. And I was like, we'll do it Sunday. I don't care how like sick I feel still or not. I was like, I'm doing it Sunday. So.
Yeah. No, man, it's definitely, I appreciate it. I mean, our show, guys, like I said before, I always bring this back up at the end because I don't know how many people come a little bit later. We've always wanted to be like a Saturday at 7 show, but if we happen to have guests from the UK, like if people from Alien Attic want to come back over, and I know we're gonna have Ali and them back on the show again. Ali wants to come back really bad, because he didn't think he had his greatest performance the last time he was here. Which I disagree with. I thought it was a fun show, but he wants to come back. So, I mean, there's going to be Saturdays where we have to go at 5 because I'm not going to make them come on our show and stay up till 2 in the morning, dude.
Right.
Like, there's nothing I can do. If we have people from other countries, it'll have to be there. If we have an issue where, you know, you've got your health stuff going on and you need the day or you need what have you, you're much appreciated. Everybody wants you here. We're going to move it a day. And, you know, everyone will live. Trust me. There's a lot of great content out there, not just us. Rich's channel is amazing. Ollie's channel is great. Lou Review's channel is great. I mean, there's tons. I mean, Cambian's got a great show. There's great stuff out there, guys. So if we end up pushing a day for some health concerns or something like that, we always appreciate the understanding when it comes to that. But we want to try to stick to it as best as we humanly possible that we can. So Saturday, 8:30, hour and a half, buddy. We made it. We made it. with you here the whole time. But thank you guys. Have a really great rest of your weekend. Any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, put them in the chat or put them in the, we can put them in the chat if you want, but put them down in the comment section. Thank you guys for being here. Everybody in chat, Marcel Nunn, Sapphire. I know you're in here as Spite, but Bernie Murno, Teen Titans, Joss. I'm going to miss people, obviously, because I start doing this at the end every time, which is a bad idea. I see Joker came in for a little bit. He's my Trials of Osiris partner. Thank you, Joker. Good to see you. Jeff Bine was probably lurking in here at some point, too. So,
yeah, I'm sure.
Everybody, all the lurkers, hey, you don't have to type in chat. You can be here. Give me a like. Give us a like. Share the show. We really appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Yep. See you guys later.
See you guys on the other side.